There we go. All set up. Get a drink of water here. Give a few people or a few minutes for some people to hop on. But I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the biggest misconceptions about sales and what it is and what the process looks like, and just give you some tips and some feedback about what I've learned over the last 20 years of being in sales. And I was one of the biggest culprits. I made the transition from military to a service-oriented sort of fixed operations business, and was approached by the general manager of the car dealership that I worked at the time, and they asked me to get into sales. And I remember going, no way, I can't do sales. It's super high pressure. My perception of a salesperson, was really a kind of a slick talking, fast talking, person that essentially got people to do things, buy things, pay for things that they either didn't need or didn't want. And over my career, which is, approaching about 20 years now, a little over 20 years since I've been in sales, but maybe 21 years, is that most people believe that sales is high pressure. Sales is this memorization or the the scripting of saying certain things to certain people at certain times, and then magically these people would agree to buy or sell or lease or whatever it is that you're trying to sell, right? It applies in not just real estate, but virtually any sales environment that you would be in. And here's what I'm here to tell you. And this was, really just reminded me to share this and speak about this topic, because we had a 90-minute sales training meeting today with a nationally recognized sales trainer. And it was awesome that as we went around the room, everybody talked about, they did an introduction. This was our first one of this type. And everybody did an introduction. And the sales trainer had asked, what are your strengths? What do you feel you're best at? And what do you believe that you could, get better at? What's your biggest weakness? What do you wish, that you were much better at than what you are now? And out of the 8 salespeople between our Maryland and Pennsylvania office, the one consistency from each of those people was that they all said that their strength was building rapport. Now, there's 2 reasons why that's the case. One is that's how we hire. We only hire people that like people. And I think it's one of the bigger mistakes that a lot of people make, is that they hire experienced salespeople. Now, by all means, if I can hire an inexperienced person that's equally qualified as an experienced person, all things being equal, there certainly is value to having experience. I'm not going to deny that at all. However, most sales experience is bad. Their experience is actually just a big pile of bad habits about what they've had moderate success with over the course of the last, couple years. So when we hire, and what we look for in our salespeople are folks that are generally just nice people, and they enjoy having conversation with folks. They get their energy from being in social settings. They're comfortable, overcoming objections. All of that stuff comes down to, really one characteristic in a person's personality that allows them to be comfortable in sales environments. Then the second part is that we're very intentional about how we develop, train, and hold our salespeople accountable, and what our sales process looks like. And the most important part of our sales process is one of probably 2 critical things: listening, stop talking. And that's a buzzword that everybody uses about, listen more, talk less, blah, 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 blah. But don't just listen. And some people, define listening as not talking. Like, actually listen to what the person is saying. Because ultimately, your sales pitch or the close that you're going to use. And I use those air quotes because I think those terms are grossly misunderstood. Sometimes a close in a sales transaction simply looks like, hey, Tom, Bill, Mary, Susan, whatever the client's name is, you've told me that this is really important to you. And if we were able to offer you this solution or allow you to move on or, sell you this home, it sounds like it would have a pretty big impact on your life. Is that correct? Now, again, we're not guessing. This is information that came firsthand from the client because A, we've asked questions, and B, we've listened. And the second kind of residual thing that happens when you do that, can you guys see me? Brandy, can you see me now? I think I was driving on a back road there and I had a bad connection, but are you able to see me now, Brandy? Yes, no, maybe? Let me know. Can you hear me at least? Anyway, so I'm going to keep going. So, worst case, you can hear this video and not watch it. The other thing that happens as a result of you asking good questions and listening to the client is that you start to build this ever elusive rapport. And what is rapport? Rapport is a relationship that you have with a prospective client that allows you to have meaningful conversation about a significant transaction. Buying a house, selling a house, buying a car, selling a car, investing in a major renovation at your house. I mean, it could be 1,000 different things, right? Significant investment means, different things to different people. So once you have rapport and you've listened to the customer and why it is that they're even considering your product, you're now much better suited to have meaningful conversation about moving towards a sale or a transaction or a lease or whatever it is. And instead of you making random guesses at how you can solve that person's problem or offer them value, you're basically just revisiting the conversation you've already had about what they're looking for, what they're unhappy with about their current situation, what they'd like to improve, whether it's a vehicle and they need more size, or they're unhappy with the gas mileage that they're getting, or they're selling a home because the maintenance has got to be too much for them. And just to give you an example is that if a client would call you about selling a home and buying a home for them to move into, if the biggest contributing factor to them selling their home is maintenance and upkeep and utilities and just the overall responsibility that comes with that property, I mean, really, you got to know that you should be showing them something that requires less maintenance. It's significantly smaller, or the utility cost is much less because maybe it's got a more efficient heating and cooling system in it. But if you're not listening to the client while you're having these conversations, you could end up showing them 3, 4, 5, 10 properties that they don't have any interest in. So now you've not only wasted your time, you've inconvenienced the customer, and you may have cost yourself that relationship. Because once you part ways and they go back home and you go back to the office, they're probably saying, hey, why did Eric show us that home? We told him we wanted to downsize, or we needed something more efficient. We didn't want to, mess with upkeep and maintenance. And he showed us 4 properties that need, it's got a half an acre of a yard. I'm going to have to mow that twice a week. That's more maintenance than what I want to do. So just a quick tip that 2 things that you absolutely need to get better at, no matter how good you think you are, is listening and building rapport. If the front end of your sales process is focused on relationship building and listening, the last 25% is just a mere formality. It's not going to be you trying to overcome 13, 14, 15 objections. It's really just buttoning up loose ends. So most people think sales is this tricky, fast-talking process that requires you to be this overly aggressive, pushy person, and it's just not the case. Quite frankly, the best salespeople I've ever met are really good listeners, and when they make a deal with someone, if they sell them something or they buy something from them or whatever, regardless of the price of the transaction, that customer is thrilled with the experience. And the key word there is the experience, not the price, not the product, not anything. They are thrilled with the experience that they had. And I can tell you from my past, positions and experience and knowledge that the best way to give them the best experience is to build rapport and listen. So hope this is helpful. Thought it would be a good time for me to chat about it since we just engaged in our first group training today that is focused really on those two things. Our sales training is focused exclusively on rapport building and making an exceptional experience for the customer. Because at the end of the day, even if we don't buy or sell them a home, they're ultimately going to go and tell their friends about their experience, not the price, not the payment, not the down payment, not the interest rate, not the kitchen, not the bath. What's going to last and they're going to remember is the experience they had in working with you. So give your clients, give your folks a better experience. If you're in a management position, train your people how to give a better service and a more impactful experience to your clients. And I promise you, you'll sell more, you buy more, your profits will go up, and you'll have happier customers. You guys have a good day. Talk to you later.